Alright, so we got the 392 spoilers, and there is definitely a tragic twist that happens at the end of this chapter that could have some possible serious ramifications, but we'll get to it when we get to it. But before I get into these spoilers, of course, let me just quickly go over what had happened in the previous chapter. So we moved away from the Todoroki family drama stuff, and we went back into Uraraka and Tsuyu taking on Toga. And Toga was doing the Sad Man's Death Parade, which I guess is like a more manic, maybe bigger version of the regular Sad Man's Parade. But as Uraraka was taking on this wave of twices, she was trying to get through to Toga. I don't want to say talk no jutsu, but just trying to get through to her with words. And she basically pointed out to her that she realizes Toga is upset because she's unable to replicate the quirks of the people that Twice is able to clone. So as we saw before, back when Twice was still alive, the people that he replicated, he could use their quirks as well. But Toga is unable to do this. Like, she could make Shigaraki and Dabi, but she couldn't activate their quirks. And it upset Toga. And Uraraka said it's because she's got bloodlust mixed in there, and she's not working off of pure love, because that also goes into Toga's quirk. If she loves someone that she becomes, she can use their quirk as well. But apparently she's got too much bloodlust mixed in there, so she's unable to replicate the quirks of the others. And this triggers Toga, and she exposes herself. So now Uraraka knows who the original Toga is in this army of Twice clones. And that brings us to this chapter that begins with Tsuyu tied up by Twices, saying that she couldn't dodge the clones' attacks due to the injury she took on Akotu Island. Uraraka shouts her name, and Toga starts yelling at her, saying that she acts like that because she was born with an easy life. A flashback begins with Toga's parents accusing her of killing the bird to drink its blood. Toga denies it while crying, saying that it was already dead in the backyard. We then see her being taken to quirk counseling. The lady there says they'll make her normal. We then see Toga walking in a park while seeing different forms of love, like a couple holding hands and a man playing with his dog. She remembers all the time she was told to act normal as she watches everyone, biting her own finger hard enough to the point of bleeding. Then we see her parents asking if she sucked the blood of a friend from school, and Toga says she didn't. She just gave his bruise a little kiss. Her parents say that this isn't normal, and Toga replies that she doesn't understand what this means. Toga is crying desperately, asking her parents why she has to repress her love, why she can't turn into other people, why doesn't anyone else feel the urge to drink blood like she does. The parents are screaming, saying they have given birth to something that is not human. But first, let's talk about the sponsor of this video, Private Internet Access. Private Internet Access is a virtual private network, or a VPN for short, which hides your IP address and safeguards your internet connection through an encrypted tunnel. And believe it or not, Private Internet Access also provides a tool that can help anime fans. And I'll get more into that later, but Private Internet Access is also a tool that helps you with your everyday life. Because whenever you connect to the internet on a public Wi-Fi network, your data is at risk of being stolen. That's why Private Internet Access helps protect your personal data by encrypting your internet connection through their world-class server infrastructure, which makes your information shielded and bulletproof. I've been traveling a lot this year, guys, going from airport to airplanes, and I always use Private Internet Access for when I'm on public Wi-Fi in those instances. You can also now use one Private Internet Access subscription to protect an unlimited amount of devices at the same time. But that's not all, because Private Internet Access also allows you to access region-restricted content from all over the world. Guys, we all love anime on this channel, and streaming services are notorious for region blocking certain anime. But you don't have to worry about that anymore, because Private Internet Access helps you overcome these restrictions by giving you the option to change your IP address to one of their 84 countries to choose from, as well as all 50 US states, allowing you to gain access to websites and services that are only available in those locations. So now we can finally catch new episodes of the Big 3 Shonen series on Netflix, something that we were never able to do before. Guys, watching anime on streaming services without Private Internet Access is like paying for a season pass in a game, but only getting a fraction of the DLCs. So guys, you can get Private Internet Access by clicking my link in the description. And by doing that, you're also going to get an 83% discount on private internet access. That's just $2.03 a month. And you'll also get 4 extra months completely free. Thanks, guys. So yeah, we are revisiting Toga's tragic backstory here. And we are seeing, as I've talked about before, a common theme amongst the villains, and it's that they're kind of victims of their circumstances. They didn't really ask to be the way that they are. And with Toga, her quirk kind of makes her behave the way that she does. And we've seen before, you know, the bird symbology, her killing the bird, or allegedly killing the bird. I guess it was dead, but still drinking its blood. Also, there was more bird symbology, which was really graphic for the series, but the way that Toga's quirk works, like I said, compels her to feel the way that she does. It's not really her fault. She was just born with it. It compels her to consume the blood of others, and considering that the most powerful aspect of it requires her to love someone or have strong feelings for them in order to replicate them entirely, including their quirk. So it's just how she was born. She's born to feel this way. And there's definitely some mental health issues sprinkled in there for sure. I mean, it's not like she's perfect, but I mean, who is? But also, obviously, her parents aren't helping either. And I don't want to generalize this too much when I'm talking about her parents and how they're behaving here, especially in the current social climate on the internet. Because yes, the way that her parents are acting is somewhat relative to most areas of the world for sure. I'm sure some people that are watching this video right now are dealing with some similar sentiments from their own parents. And if you are, I'm sorry about that. It's going to get better, don't worry. But I also got to say that, you know, Horikoshi is probably giving some commentary on Japanese culture, Japanese parenting in general. There, I said it, but anyway, I digress. Cuts back to the present, and we see that a vestige of Curious is talking to Toga, saying that this is why she put on a mask, suppressed her emotions, and turned into someone who was not really her. So that's interesting. So Curious, of course, is the member of the Liberation Army that Toga fought back in the Villain Academia arc, which it's like season 5, right? And one of the few villains that actually gets straight up killed in this series. Like, it was actually a really cool sequence. Toga winds up activating Uraraka's quirk. That's actually when we find out that Toga can use the quirks of people that she becomes if she loves them or has strong enough feelings for them. And she used the gravity quirk to send Curious up in the air and then deactivated it and just dropped her. It was one of the better sequences for sure. But now she's like seeing the quote-unquote vestige of her, which is interesting because this is the same kind of rhetoric that Curious was spouting to Toga when she was alive during their fight. So this really did get to her because it was the truth. She is suppressing her emotions, considering her upbringing. Ochaku pulls Toga with her wire and Jiro arrives on the scene, going to hold a falling Tsuyu. But Kamui warns her that that's not the real one because she's already holding Tsuyu. That's when the falling Tsuyu's face distorts, getting a huge mouth and eyes. So we've seen this before. Toga already was able to replicate Tsuyu because she was able to get her blood from a wound that she received. This actually happens back in chapter 375. And also in that chapter, we got an update on how long the time limit of Toga being able to use twice his quirk is, which is like 30 to 40 minutes considering the amount of blood that she was able to consume. But then again, 30 to 40 minutes in manga time is like a day, so it doesn't really matter, but I guess it will come back into play since it was mentioned. Tsuyu's clone attacks Jiro, but Kamui destroys it. Toga starts making more clones of Tsuyu and Jiro, and Kamui says that the clones are drinking the blood that's dropping through the battlefield. Jiro's surprised to see herself cloned and puts her hand on her injured ear. So yeah, now she's becoming Jiro as well, and as it says, the clones are getting the blood from the battlefield. Jiro's ear was blown off a couple chapters back, a lot of chapters back actually, in her battle against All For One. Like, he fired off that air cannon thing. So yeah, still having ramifications of that. Tsuyu finds herself surrounded by the clones and starts talking to Toga, saying that she thought a hero's duty was to follow the rules and that anything that opposed that was villainous. But now her friend is more focused on reaching Toga than following any of those rules. She thinks that this path, that of understanding, is much harder than arresting or killing everyone. So, even though Ochako is a bit too late, Tsuyu asks Toga at least listen to what she has to say. But in the next page, we see Ochako getting stabbed in the stomach. Ochako coughs blood, and Toga says that they are fundamentally different. She can't feel the same joy as everyone else, and she's tired of people judging her life. The last panel of the chapter is a flashback of Twice asking Toga if she won't pick a villain name for herself. So, this is the twist I was talking about. Ochako getting stabbed in the stomach here, coughing up blood. So I would like to think that there are going to be some ramifications from this, and that there is a possibility that Ochako can die, but guys, come on. We all know that that's not going to happen. This is kind of part of the course for what has been happening lately. Yes, characters do die in this series for sure, but there's no chance, guys, that Ochako is going to bite the dust here. I mean, come on. I mean, if she does, I would happily be proven wrong. I mean, I love Ochako. She's one of my favorite characters for sure, but I just don't feel any kind of like stakes, or I don't feel anxious or even worried one bit. This is more so just Horikoshi trying to up the stakes here, and I understand, but Ochako's going to pull through this for sure. But the real question is if Toga will be redeemed. Does she have a better case of being redeemed than Dabi? For sure. I would say that Dabi is more despicable than Toga, but both are far from innocent. So expect Ochako to, I don't know, maybe have some kind of quirk awakening or some kind of ultimate move that comes out of this, possibly. This pushes her to finally defeat Toga. And also, maybe we will get a villain name for Toga, which is interesting because we never really had that before. I like that that's being brought up here. Maybe she says it in her final moments. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the spoilers, guys. Let me know what you think about them in the comments. And if you liked it, please give it a like and please subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.